The chime of her wine glass against the oak table cut through the quiet of dinner like a blade. "I want a prenup," Sarah said. Her voice was even, her eyes fixed on the swirl of red in her glass. "We keep everything separate." My fork stalled midair, a roasted potato dangling as her words slammed into me. The kitchen, softly lit, garlic still hanging in the air, suddenly felt like a stage where I didn't know my lines. I nodded, because what else was there to do? My throat tightened, but I forced a smile, the brittle kind you give when you're choking down shock. "Okay," I managed, my voice hollow, "if that's what you want." Her mouth twitched, almost a smile, before she took another sip of wine. The silence between us swelled, heavy and bruising. I stared at my plate, the food smearing into meaningless colors, wondering when the woman I married had started building walls I couldn't see. The idea of a prenup wasn't new. We joked about it before the wedding. 3 years ago, laughing over cheap beers in a dive bar. If we split, I'm keeping the dog, she'd tease, her hazel eyes glinting. I'd kiss her hand and grinned. Deal, but I get the record player. Back then, it was a game, a playful nod to a future we never thought possible. But tonight, her words carried a weight that prickled over my skin like the air before a storm. Later in bed, her soft breathing beside me was cruel against the chaos in my head. The room was too still, the moonlight slicing through the blinds like accusations. Why now? We weren't wealthy. Our savings were just scraps of paychecks stitched together. Was it really about money or something else? I replayed her words, the tension in her hand around the stem of her glass. Excuses churned in my head. Stress from her new job, that fight last month about my late nights. But deep down, a colder truth was rooting itself. Something was broken, and I had been too blind to notice. The next morning, she was already gone when I woke. Her side of the bed was cold, untouched. On the fridge, a post-it, early meeting, back late. No love, no little doodle heart like she used to leave. I stood there with coffee searing my palm, staring at the note as if it held some hidden code. The kitchen clock ticked, each second hammering into my nerves. I went through motions, shower, clothes, work, but her words from last night clung to me like damp clothes. At the office, I was useless. Numbers blurred on the screen. Coworkers' chatter grated like static. I kept checking my phone, hoping for a message, an explanation. Nothing. By noon, I was scrolling her social media, something I hadn't done in years. Her posts were minimal, professional. A conference smile, a group shot with colleagues. But one photo buried weeks back froze me. Sarah beside a man I didn't know, their shoulders brushing, her smile a little too wide. The caption, "Teamwork makes the dream work." My stomach turned. I told myself it was nothing. Just work. Just a colleague. That night, she came home late, her heels clicking against the hardwood. I was on the couch, pretending to read, the book untouched for an hour. "Hey," I said, casual as I could. "Long day," she muttered, tossing her bag onto the counter. "Yeah, meetings ran over." Her voice was flat, her eyes avoiding mine as she poured water. The air between us was thick, both of us waiting for the other to break. I wanted to ask about the prenup, the man in the photo, why she felt so far away. But the words stuck like lead. Instead, I asked, "You okay? You seem off." She froze, then turned, her face smooth and unreadable. "I'm fine, Mark. Just tired." But her eyes, the eyes I usually read like an open book, were shuttered, locked. She kissed my forehead, perfunctory, and went upstairs. Her perfume lingered, sharper than usual. Unfamiliar. Or was it? Doubt gnawed slow and merciless. The next days blurred into a string of small, jagged clues. Her phone buzzed endlessly, and she'd silence it with a glance. She started locking her laptop. Once I caught her laughing softly at a text. Her face lit in a way I hadn't seen in months. "Who's that?" I asked. "Just a work friend," she said, too quick, too dismissive. Each moment stacked onto the last, a house of cards trembling on collapse. I started doing things I hated myself for. One night, her email was open on our shared tablet, a thread with someone named Alex. At first, it was professional, deadlines, meeting notes. Then it shifted. Can't wait to see you again, winky face. My heart thundered. I told myself I was imagining things. Paranoid. But the prenup loomed in my mind, a neon sign screaming betrayal. By Friday night, I couldn't hold it in. She was in the shower. Her phone sat on the counter. My hand shook as I picked it up. The passcode, still our anniversary. The messages hit like a gut punch. Miss you already? He'd written. Last night was amazing. Her reply, same. Soon. My vision blurred. I scroll further. Late night meetups. Excuses. A photo at a bar, her hand resting on his arm. When she came out, wrapped in a towel, I was at the kitchen table with her phone in my hand. She froze. Her eyes widened, then narrowed. What are you doing? Her voice was sharp, defensive. Who's Alex? My voice shook with anger and grief. A friend from work. You're being ridiculous. Am I? I held up the phone, screen glowing with their messages. This doesn't look like just friends, Sarah. Her face crumpled, only for a second before hardening again. You shouldn't have gone through my phone, she snapped. That's not fair. Fair. I laughed, bitter, broken. You're talking prenups and sneaking around, and I'm the one who's unfair? She sank into a chair, twisting her hands in her lap. It's not what you think, she murmured, her voice trembling. Alex! He just understands me right now. You've been so distant, Mark. Always work. I felt alone. Her words stung, but they didn't erase the betrayal. So your answer is to cheat? To plan an escape clause while you protect yourself? My voice cracked, tears burning my eyes. I loved you. I trusted you. She reached for my hand, but I pulled away. I don't want to lose you, she whispered, tears spilling. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I stood, the chair screeching against the floor. My heart was a battlefield, love, rage, grief colliding. I wanted to scream, to forgive, to disappear forever. Instead, I said, I need time. I grabbed my keys and left, the door slamming behind me. Outside, the night was sharp and cold, the stars indifferent. I drove aimlessly, her words echoing, mine circling back. But one thought cut through. The prenup wasn't about money. It was her exit plan. Yet her tears, her plea, still tangled in my chest. I pulled over, gripping the wheel. My phone buzzed with a text from Sarah. Please come home. We can fix this. I stared at it, torn between the life we'd built and the truth I couldn't unknow. Then another text flashed from an unknown number. She's lying. Ask her about the hotel last weekend. My blood ran cold. The betrayal wasn't just Alex. It was bigger, darker, a web I hadn't even begun to untangle.